However, it is gratifying to note the receptiveness of our jurisprudence of lifestyle audits under Article 2864 of the Constitution. However, it is strictly limited in scope and outlook, as it only applies to certain public offices and only in respect of the asset declaration regime. Then again, there is no prescribed sanction beyond the declaration that property or assets acquired after the initial declaration of assets and which are not reasonably attributable to reasonable sources will be deemed to have been acquired in contravention of the Constitution. Further, this problem is exacerbated by the fact that our criminal anti-corruption provisions in the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, and other enactments look primarily to public officers. Private persons are only implicated if they corrupt or seek to corrupt public officers. Otherwise, private persons are not within the purview of our traditional anti-corruption fight. It is for the above and other considerations that the advent of the OSP regime took the fight against corruption beyond our traditional arena of public life and situated the fight squarely among public officers, politically exposed persons, and persons in the private sector, as reflected in the long title of the Act and copious sections under the Act in the specific context of asset recovery. That is the third mandate of the OSP, which is to recover and manage the proceeds of corruption and corruption-related offenses in relation to public officers, politically exposed persons, as well as persons in the private sector. However, this mandate is largely in the context of conviction-based proceedings, though the OSP is mandated to exercise limited aspects of civil asset recovery under its declaration of property and income regime. Therefore, Your Excellency, the principle of lifestyle audit non-conviction-based asset recovery should be stamped in the Constitution to encompass public officers, politically exposed persons, and persons in the private sector suspected of having engaged or engaging in corruption and corruption-related activities, on the reckoning that the person must have legitimate sources of income sufficient to justify the interest in any property that that person holds. Therefore, where a person's resources far outstrip his legitimate income, the unexplained portion should be liable to confiscation. This will be a critical tool also to detect fraud and undeclared income for tax purposes. Thus,